Hi, let's have a look at Terra LUNA, ticker symbol LUNA, currently at $48.16. The Luna token is at market rank number 12, meaning it is the 12th largest cryptocurrency. It's got a market cap of 23 billion or a market dominance of a little bit under 1%. So 0.8% of all of crypto is tied up in the Terra LUNA token. Now on this channel, we are not discussing fundamentals that much because it's really hard to discuss those objectively, right? Is a team really outstanding? Is a project really good? Are regulatory risks really a problem? All of those topics are not really quantifiable. And so the discussion becomes somewhat subjective. And so what we do instead is we simply look at the charts. So this is the Luna token in USD on a logarithmic chart, long term. And it starts in the middle of 2018 and then went down in terms of US dollars by more than 90%. And then we had this nice rally to today of almost 400x. Now the problem with US dollar charts is always the correlation to general crypto, right? When we compare Luna to, for example, Ethereum, we can very often see the bottoms in a chart tend to happen at the same time. The tops in a chart also tend to happen at the same time. And so instead of looking at the US dollar chart, let's look at the chart measured in Bitcoin, for example. And since the volatility of the Luna token is so high, the difference between the US dollar chart and the Bitcoin chart isn't even that significant, right? These charts, they look almost the same. If you compare this, however, to Ethereum, we do see some kind of a difference, right? So this is the US dollar chart. This is the Ethereum chart. And here the rally from bottom to top is not a 400x. It's around 170x, a bit less than that. Still very, very impressive. Now the swings in this cryptocurrency are definitely impressive, especially considering that Terra LUNA is at market rank number 12. So we've got a fairly large cryptocurrency that still within 2 months can lose 85% of its value. So the question here really is, do you really want to hold Luna for the very long term and simply buy it and hope that we continue to outperform? Or does it rather make sense to try to time the market somewhat? To maybe try to be in the market when momentum is positive and to be outside of the market when momentum turns around? And one way to do this is with moving averages. We can draw a moving average and then try to find the best duration that matches this asset. And so the idea is to always be in the market when the price is above the moving average and to be outside of the market when the price is below the moving average. And so we want to shorten this moving average until we can exit here fairly early and until we can enter here fairly early as well, but without getting too many wrong, noisy signals due to the volatility. So if we decrease this further, maybe to something around 40 seems to be quite good. Then of course in the early days we did have quite a few failed signals, but recently this rally we would have exited pretty early. We would have saved ourselves a crash of approximately 68%. And when we look at the recent development over here, we can see we are pretty much fighting right now. The direction really doesn't seem to be that clear. We're pretty much in a sideways trading range. The positive momentum has stopped and now it seems to be a game of buying when we are comparatively low. So one way to trade these sideways trading ranges is with the RSI. And for that, I like to use smaller time frames. So I'm switching here to the hourly time frame. And then we can simply enter the RSI. And what we get over here at the bottom, let's close the volume. What we're getting here are extreme values, right? So what you want to buy, whenever the RSI is very low, then we tend to get pretty good entry points. So let's just draw this over here, say at around 22. And if you look at this historically, whenever the RSI has been that low, you do get nice entry points. So let's check over here. This is a low RSI level. We would have bought here. We would have bought over here. This is another buying signal. This is also pretty low. So we can see when we not just randomly buy, but when we buy whenever the RSI is low, we tend to get comparatively favorable entry points. Now, how much potential for growth do we have, say, versus Ethereum? Because really what matters is how much more can we outperform the safest of the altcoins, right? How much higher could we potentially go? Now, Terra is at 22 billion. Ethereum is at 546. Now, what are the potential flip candidates? I think it's very reasonable to assume that Shiba and Doge will fall below Terra LUNA over the long term. Will it beat Polkadot? Maybe. Cardano and Solana are pretty heavyweight, so I'm not sure that that flippening will happen very soon. But let's say it rises above Polkadot and above XRP. It gets somewhere between Cardano and XRP. Then we are looking at roughly a 3x from here, right? So this is on average a little bit over 60 billion. Terra is a bit over 20 billion, so a 3x. And so looking at this long-term chart, this is how a 3x would look like. We would go somewhere around here. This is pretty much the limit for Terra Luna in relative valuation. At least when it goes past this level, then risk versus reward is way less attractive if we work with the assumptions that it's not going to flip, say, Solana anytime soon. So that's how it potentially could look like. Nobody knows how quick this would happen, but here's pretty much the limit. And so the question really is, what do you think is more likely? Do you think, for example, the regulatory issues might cause some further FUD and potentially crash the price again by maybe 80% or so? Or do you believe in the bull scenario? I think it does make a lot of sense to try to time this and potentially wait for a breakout, because no matter where this price goes, the movement is probably going to continue afterwards. Momentum is likely to pick up. I don't see many people buying around here when we already go down by like 40 or 50%. So in case momentum turns bearish, it's likely going to continue. If momentum turns bullish, we do have a bit more space. But definitely watch the relative valuation to Ethereum, because I do think it's very unlikely that we will see, say, another 150x or so from here versus Ethereum. So I think most of the outperformance versus the large cryptos has already happened. These kind of moves are unlikely to happen in relative valuation. Of course, when all of crypto goes up, then the US dollar valuation of Luna can go way higher than 3x, right? Say when Ethereum 5x's, the Luna token can easily go 10x, no problem at all. But this is then not driven mainly by Luna. This is then driven by the overall crypto market. Luna at this point in time can already be seen as somewhat of a large cap. In my opinion, it's likely to be in the top 10 rather sooner than later. But I also think at this point in time, it's unlikely to beat Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Solana. So the potential is capped and the risk should definitely be managed, because the volatility on the token is high. In a very short period of time, the movements can be quite drastic. So simply be aware of this and make sure to keep an eye on momentum. If you enjoyed this video, please give this a like. YouTube will then help to grow the channel. And of course, if you haven't yet, feel free to subscribe as well. I publish videos regularly. Last but not least, we've got a Telegram channel. We are more than 1,000 people now. Feel free to join us. You can find us either by clicking the link in the video description or simply by searching for Bitcoin Strategy Channel within the Telegram app. See you next time. Bye-bye.